What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Overall, it was pretty good here. Had a fun Spawncast and everything. Good Saturday show. And then just kind of hung out and played some games on Saturday. Getting further in Octopath Traveler. Actually getting towards the end of the game now. I've just been working through it quite a bit. So having a good time. But we have a pretty fun topic that I'm sure will go down very, very well in the comments. We'll see how that goes after seeing how a lot of the online conversation has been going around this game, and that's Pokemon Let's Go. We're going to talk about that as more information's come out, and it seems to be pushing along kind of the controversy around this series coming out, specifically more so with long-time fans of the series who are used to more of the, I guess, core RPG parts of the game and the series. First, though, let's start with some quick news. We're going to start with Resident Evil 2 Remake, the game coming up that a lot of people are really excited for at the end of January. And we got to look at a ridiculous special edition. It's kind of pricey. It's $200. You're going to see it here. And it is a GameStop exclusive, at least I know it is in the US. In Europe, we're also going to get more details and everything. But right now, this is what we have here as a GameStop exclusive. It's the Resident Evil 2 Collector's Edition. And you can see right away there's a full statue and everything in it. A 12-inch Leon S. Kennedy statue. I saw that right away. That caught my eye immediately. It does come, obviously, with a copy of the game. It should. Although, let's be realistic here. We've seen things from EA and I think Microsoft even that didn't even come with the full game for a special edition. It does come with the Deluxe Edition DLC pack voucher, which, as you can see, has a bunch of the DLC that's already included with it. It does sound like this game is going to launch with DLC at the same time, so that'll be great. Pre-order bonus, as you can see there, I assume that's through GameStop, their own pre-order bonus, where they have a Samurai Edge for both Chris and Jill. And then there's also a full collector's art book that looks awesome. I liked having the art book, and then you could see the RPD item box packaging. I guess that's where it all comes in and everything. And then you also have an RPD blueprints right there. So this is a good-looking special edition for a Resident Evil fan. I have to see how good that statue is, because this is a $200 item. What they should do is, I guess, as we get closer, do more information about the statue and everything, whether it's high-definition pictures of it, or maybe even a video just unboxing this whole set, but that might be up to GameStop. I don't know. It's a GameStop exclusive, which was kind of weird to see, but hey, Capcom, I guess, is willing to sell this out to whoever, so there you go. I guess GameStop was the one to step up and buy the rights for this, so you will have to go and pick it up there. Now, there's also, I believe, a $70 deluxe edition that comes with the DLC packs and everything. That might be more along the line of what people would pick up, $10 more to get that. But yeah, full special edition. I like the look of it. $200's a bit pricey for me, but I'm not as big of a Resident Evil fan as some others. I'm just excited for the game itself. However, I do know Resident Evil fans are going to be all over the special edition. And then once again, just jumping back to Octopath Traveler, Square Enix had to actually put out another apology, as they did restock Octopath Traveler in Japan, and then it sold out in about 3 hours at an outlet there. As you can see the tweet here, it actually sold out in about 3 hours across all Yodobashi camera outlets on Friday. And this game is super popular in Japan, and they just can't seem to keep it in stock. They keep telling people, just go digitally download it. People in Japan, they want this thing physically, and I understand. I mean, it is a game you want to buy physically, but man, it's insane to see this. We're going to find out a bit more with the Media Crate sales when they come up this week to see what kind of drop-off we have and how much they were even able to restock it, because as far as we can tell, they sold through a significant amount of that first shipment. We're talking like 80 to 90% of that first shipment, and then they're putting more in stock, and they're going to be stocking more as we go into August. It's crazy that this game is so popular, but at least makes sense in Japan. Now I'm curious about like the MPDs and stuff for this game and where it's going to rank, because it's been super hot in Japan. And we'll see what Media Crate says this week coming up about what they were able to restock in time. But one thing's for sure, Japan, they want Octopath Traveler. All right, guys, with those two pieces of news out of the way, let's jump into this Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. This game, or these games, I should say, because there's technically two of them, despite them just having a few different Pokemon between the two of them, much like every other Pokemon game. But these games seem to be fairly controversial within the Pokemon community, because they are not your typical Pokemon game, and I think they knew this. I think Game Freak, Nintendo, and everyone, I think they knew that this would kind of happen. That's why they told us about the 2019 main core RPG experience that's coming up next year, just to let people know, listen, this isn't the only Pokemon game. Can you imagine if they didn't tell us that? People would be going nuts right now, because at least people have something to look forward to. Now, what happened exactly? There was an interview that took place between Matsuda and Famitsu. Now, a lot of people had this translated, but Nintendo Everything really translated it well. As far as we can tell, this is the one you go with. It's a long read. There were several questions, about 3 or 4 pages, and there were some interesting details in here that people started to kind of pick out. There were a few times where Mitsuda talks about how he was looking to take the experience of Pokemon and essentially make it a bit easier. That seemed to stick with a lot of people, is that it seemed like they are dumbing down the Pokemon experience, and that seems to be a big sticking point for a lot of people who are not excited or happy about what's happening here. Again, though, 2019 core RPG. Anyway, the whole interview here seems to keep going back to that, making the game easier, more open to really, I guess, mainstream. It's essentially them seeing the Pokemon Go experience blow up, and they want to move it over. There are also comments made about the training your Pokemon, as one of the biggest controversial things about this is there are no wild Pokemon battles. That, again, really is sticking with people right now. I mean, think about that. It's something we've had always in Pokemon, and there was one passage here in the interview saying, "It seems like it might be easier for even first-timers to progress through the game. How about battles and training Pokemon? Are they much different? When it comes to training Pokemon, you can still level up by catching Pokemon and through trainer battles. Additionally, you can send caught Pokemon to the professor to receive candies that you can use to directly enhance your Pokemon's strength." So we're hearing more and more about mechanics that seem to line up more so with Pokemon Go, and this still seems to be hard for people to accept that this is them seeing the Pokemon Go experience do really well, and they're just trying to capitalize on that with a Pokemon game on the Switch. It's just kind of how they have to do it, because I don't think the 2019 core RPG was ready just yet. So they're trying to make this easier for people who have essentially never played a Pokemon game before to move over from Pokemon Go. That's why you don't have wild Pokemon battles, and you essentially throw the Pokeball and catch them. That's what they want to do. In fact, he even talks more about the regular Pokemon game being kind of like a fishing experience, where you are, of course, fighting with the Pokemon, getting them to a certain point, and then trying to capture them. Maybe it doesn't work, try again. Whereas this way, according to them, is more like swinging around a bug net. So, easier, yes. And he's thinking that's kind of how people who have never played before might be more interested in playing, because Pokemon Go, yes, is easier to capture Pokemon. You don't have to whittle down their health or anything. You just throw a ball. And he even goes on to say that this was a debate within the company, within Game Freak, the Pokemon company, everyone who was, working on this game. This could be an issue, and I don't know if I want to do this, but it was Masuda who was originally behind the traditional means of capturing Pokemon, whereas this time he's more open to different gameplay styles. That's what they're saying. They're saying we can't let the game get stale. We have to try new things. To that I say, well, what's been happening the past 20 years when Pokemon really hasn't changed? I remember I did a video a while ago where I did talk about what if they changed the battle system, and immediately people were not happy and they did not want to do that. Pokemon fans that have grown up with Pokemon don't seem to want Pokemon to change drastically. They don't want mechanics to change, and this Let's Go game is a massive departure from what people who have been playing Pokemon are used to. We also found out something else that, again, is not sitting well with people, or I should say, I guess, big fans of the Pokemon series, and that seems to be gym requirements. Now, you might be wondering, what are you talking about? Do you remember how you walk in to a gym before and you'd have somebody at the front who would kind of give you a tip, or like, oh, Misty does a lot of water types, she doesn't like electric Pokemon. Oh, okay, I should get an electric Pokemon to fight her with it. That makes sense. In this case, though, they're being much, much more upfront. In fact, they appear to have requirements before you even walk in the gym, requirements you have to meet. So what happened here was, on their Japanese website for Pokemon Let's Go Eevee Pikachu, they had a screenshot that appeared. Silicon Era took it, translated it, and it's the one you're seeing here, where they actually mention at Brock's gym, you have to show me a grass or water type Pokemon if you want to face the leader. Now, people have also gone on to say that there will be level requirements at times, not necessarily. You have to have the right type to fight this gym leader. Now, there are people who aren't happy because, again, it seems like more hand-holding, more just trying to help you pass through. After we hear Mitsuda talk about how things like Pokemon Yellow was not easy for people to figure out where to go, we see this, we hear about the catching mechanics being easy. People are saying they're dumbing this down for everyone. And to that I say, well, yeah, that's what they're trying to do here. But it's just interesting to see the amount of, I guess, backlash for this. I guess that's what happens when you drastically change everything about a series all in one shot. We also, of course, have the debate of people trying to figure out this is even a mainline or a core Pokemon experience, with a lot of people saying it's not. It's a, it's a spin-off. It's not to be taken seriously or anything. But then there are a lot of people within the Pokemon community, like seriously, like prominent members, saying it is. It is a mainline or a core experience. Joe Merrick, for example, has been someone who has been trying to tell people it is a mainline series. I guess you wouldn't necessarily consider it a core RPG experience, but if you consider it a mainline, I guess you would consider it a core experience. So who knows? I look at it and I don't see it as your traditional Pokemon game, but it is a remake of Yellow, so I guess it would be at least part of the mainline series, just not a core RPG Pokemon experience. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm curious what people have to say about this whole situation, because Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, it's still going to sell well. That's the thing. People seem to think no one's going to buy this game. No, people are going to buy this game. In fact, there are people theorizing it might sell better than that core RPG experience, only because they have the numbers from Pokemon Go to back them up and hope that some people come over from that experience. And if they do, this might actually outsell the core RPG experience next year. And what would that do to the series? That might be something else that could be scaring a lot of people, that are just making them really frustrated. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. I'm very curious where a lot of people fall with this Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, and if you're getting it, or if you're like, I'll wait for that core RPG experience next year. But I'm curious what your take is on this whole situation, because as more information comes out, a lot of pushback keeps happening online, specifically obviously on forums and message boards and Twitter and YouTube and everything. You see a lot of pushback, but of course that's the internet, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on this whole matter. Next up, let's talk about some pretty cool retro-ish news, I guess. A lot of times we talk about things that just kind of pop up and really shed some light on different things from way back in the day, and something else appears to be happening, or at least in progress right now as we speak. See, over on Reddit, a person actually had a massive amount of pre-production games donated, I assume, to their work, as they seem to work at a place that would get these things donated to them. And as you're seeing here, these are tons of pre-production PSP and pre-production PS2 games. And this is from a user on Reddit called the Brown93, with lots and lots of different PSP games. A lot of them pre-production with dates next to them. We're talking like Final Fantasies here. We're talking Dragon Ball Z stuff, Full Metal Alchemist, Guilty Gear, Silent Hill, Metal Gear, Final Fantasy 2. There is a lot of stuff. Even a pre-production release of Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core, a game that I really liked. And this is a big deal, as right now they are trying to dump all of this stuff. And you can kind of do that through a PSP that is modded. You can then dump a lot of it to like your computer or memory sticks and move everything over. So you could very well in the next few months see a ton of stuff that we've never seen before, never played before, start to show up online. That's really, really exciting. They also had a ton of PS2 stuff donated to them that is also massive amounts of pre-production stuff. So I would assume that would hopefully get dumped as well, although PS2 stuff getting dumped I think is a bit harder. PSPs are so easy to mod at this time, man. You can buy a PSP, have that thing modded in like 5 minutes, drop those games in there and just start ripping them to your computer, and then distributing them online for obviously to archive them and for us to really try out things that we've never seen. Pre-production stuff are games that have tons of bugs in them, obviously, things that QA testers would be trying out, but there could also be a look at levels that got cut, or just content, characters, dialogue, tons of stuff that could have been left on the cutting room floor, maybe on those discs and those UMDs. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited to see what people find when they start going through this stuff. It could be just some really, really neat stuff for kind of the gaming history archives. Next up, let's talk about Digimon Survive. We know that it's coming in 2019. We know it's coming to the Switch and the PS4, but when we left it, we really didn't know what it was going to look like. We didn't have any visuals, no screenshots, no nothing. Well, the website did go live, and while there's not a ton of stuff on there, there are several screenshots at least to give us a look at what the game is kind of going to look like, I guess. Here are some screenshots here, and when I initially saw this, I wasn't really sure if the character models were if they were like 2D on like 3D planes or whatnot. It's definitely better looking than the Cyber Sleuth series that I played on the Vita, and that's probably because it had to be built for the Vita first, and then it could be kind of upscaled and smoothed out for the PS4. But I kind of like the art style. This kind of reminds me of the PS1 game a bit, if you remember playing that, where it has that look to it. and that's pretty neat. We also know that there is going to be a live stream on the 29th. They're going to stream that on YouTube and everything, and we'll at least find out at that time what the game looks like in motion, more so just seeing screenshots, and they'll probably tell us more information about, you know, how the game's going to play and what's going to be included. I don't know if we'll get a release date because we're still waiting till 2019. This could be a game that doesn't come out till, like, seriously, the back half of 2019, or even like a July or an August or something. So probably not a release date, but we'll definitely see it in motion, and we should see more information about gameplay elements and what we can expect from this game. And our last bit of news, let's talk a bit about next generation platforms. See, a lot of people are trying to figure out what can happen next. What could games get any better looking at this point than what we have now? And the answer to that is yes, they can actually. They can get a lot better looking because we're still not technically past what a lot of people, developers, or just people in the industry that are developing realistic characters call the Uncanny Valley. That's essentially when we get to a point where you generally have a hard time telling between what you see on the screen as being fake, so of course a CGI character or whatnot, and real. But how close are we? Well, a certain Epic developer seems to think next gen will be there. We'll actually cross that valley, saying almost everybody that has a digital human character in their game is taking advantage of Siren. All the skin shading work we did that was taken into Siren shipped with 4.2. There's a bunch of stuff that I probably can't mention yet. As always, the facial animation and facial modeling experts are making their work better and better. I think you'll see some pretty exciting stuff over the next 12 months. Although there are some the nice thing is we ship Unreal Engine with the source code. We're not the only people writing shaders. People have done work themselves with the code. There's some skin stuff that, as I say, I can't disclose, but I've seen some pretty amazing stuff out there. Now they go on further to talk about this tech demo that you're seeing here. Now I've shown this to a few people that I know, you know, just kind of in my everyday life, just talking to people and the family and everything, and they seem genuinely surprised at how good this tech demo is and how lifelike it is, to the point where they weren't actually sure if it was a real person or not. And this is actually all apparently part of Unreal Engine 4.2. In fact, according to the developers at Epic, saying it would work on current gen systems. However, all of the hair detail that you see there that is generated would not really be able to run at the frame rate that they have it set for, which is 60 frames per second. They had to have it with a very beefy computer. I'm assuming several 1080 Ti's, maybe two, maybe possibly three, but probably two. And more than likely an i7 and everything, something well above essentially what we have now with current gen consoles. But the question is, could they actually reach that with a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox 2? Yeah, I'm going to keep calling it an Xbox 2 because I don't know what else you'd call it. It's possible, yes. And when we get to that point, I guess we'll again say, is there anything past that? And there probably will be, but this is where we're getting to now. We're getting to where these character models could be looking better than what we've known with CGI, you know, years ago. It's getting to that point, and it's seriously a testament to what they're doing with Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine has evolved massively since its inception. It is insane how much it's grown. And I do look at these character models and I say, wow, if that's really where we'll be in 4 or 5 years, that is absolutely impressive. And I mean, how is that crossing that Uncanny Valley? You look at that, go watch that video. I'll link it down in the description. Go watch that video at 60 frames per second. Just really watch it and let me know if it's hard to tell if that's a computer-generated character or is that a real character. Let me know. I'm really curious. And guys, that's where I'm going to leave Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, guys. Really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about all the stuff we talked about. Pokemon, definitely. Let me know where you fall on Pokemon Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu. I'm sure there's going to be a big debate about this because it's like that online now. People are on either side of it. They don't like it. They like it. Just remember, even if you don't like this one, you know, the core RPG is coming next year. Let me know about that. Let me know what you think about these character models that Unreal Engine 4.2 is putting out. Looks insane. And then also about that big find for PreProduction Games. Are you excited for the possibility of what they could find for history, for gaming history? Let me know, guys, down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.